on, everybody? It's still alive back with another one, man. And this is just going to show y'all the difference in how centers are starting to try to guard Wemby compared to the way centers have been guarded in the past. So we're going to get right back into this one, man. Make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe on this one, man. We're going to get right into it.
Wemby rolls to the back. Oh!
Remember when Prime Shaq altered the NBA landscape for centers so drastically? Back then, every team signed a lumbering 7-footer off the streets just to throw a body on him and foul him. Well, Victor Wembanyama has changed the landscape in a different way. He has completely nullified the existence of so many other big men to the point where they became unplayable. And the only way they can see the floor is if they do things like this.
Again, he has all the weight. He's just holding, he's grabbing, he's clinching, and he's just trying to wear on Wembanyama.
Wemby is getting the Steph Curry
Ridiculous. That shit's got to stop. They got to start calling that shit
treatment at such a young age, where the refs just let defenders blatantly foul him off the ball because he's breaking the game, and you can't stop him otherwise. Even Chet has joined in on the action. Here, he's looking at Wemby's feet, and in order to stop him from getting the rebound, he steps on his foot. Is this even fair? Players like Chet and Isaiah Hartenstein, who are
It's just dirty. This is why they say fucking OKC plays unethical basketball. It's just dirty play.
normally very productive for OKC, struggle to do anything with the mere existence of Wemby on the court, that they have to resort to doing stuff like this just to get some sort of edge. Hartenstein especially, who the Thunder immediately realized in the very first quarter of the first game that every single thing he was good at was rendered useless by Wemby. So he had to find some other way to be useful. This isn't the first time that Wemby has made another center unplayable.
Wembanyama with the block. Clingan got it back. Shot clock at 2. It's blocked again.
Against the Blazers, Donovan Clingan looked like a G League center. After a
Dude, there's nothing you can do about it. There's nothing you can do about it. These centers, I don't know what you do, because like you can't put a big center on them because they're too slow. You put a short guard on them and they're too tall or they're too short. So
promising breakout season, the dude looked like the worst player on the court whenever Wemby was there. Even Rudy Gobert, a spectacular series against Jokic and Nuggets, he too barely did anything when Wemby was on the court.
Gobert kicked it out, kicked off Champagny.
We've reached a tipping point where every playoff team has come to an understanding that no matter how good their big men are, no matter all the contributions they've made, there's a chance that they can't do a single thing against the NBA's newest generational player. As a result, they need to find some way to game the system. Let's take a look.
yeah, they're starting to foul the crap out of him. They're hanging on him. There was one play where Wemby went up for a tip in, and one of the players on OKC the other night was pulling his other hand from behind him so he couldn't jump up. But Wemby still tipped it in. Ridiculous.
2 minutes into the start of the series against San Antonio, coach Mark Daigneault made the decision to bench Isaiah Hartenstein. For the rest of the night, he would only check into the game when Wemby was either resting on the bench or he would check in just to play defense. With Hartenstein useless, they went small by putting the 6'5" Jalen Williams or Alex Caruso on him. Obviously, it didn't work because he scored 41 points and grabbed 24 rebounds in Game 1. Starting in Game 2, however, the Thunder coaching staff had an idea.
Jeez.
Hartenstein doesn't have the skill to score against or defend Wemby, but let him rough him up a bit. Make him grab Wemby off the ball. Make him so uncomfortable to the point where it pisses him off. He was clearly told by the coaching staff to play like this.
Yeah.
And if the refs let him, then this will continue. It's not just Hartenstein, though. Gobert also tried this in their matchup with Minnesota. He too became useless when Wemby was on the court, so he tried grabbing him and stuff. Honestly, the Wolves just couldn't take advantage of it most of the time. There's another storyline that's resurfaced. The rivalry between Chet and Wemby has been a long-running occurrence, but it's not even a rivalry anymore. Honestly, it never was. The Thunder have given up on trying to put Chet as the primary defender on Wemby.
Yeah, you can't. But I also think he is the best chance. I don't know. Chet's no comparison to Wemby, but he is at least somewhat quick enough to try to guard him and tall enough. Putting these smaller players on him is not going to work.
Wemby just annihilates him in the paint. This has happened far too many times, even in the regular season when the Spurs won every game against OKC. So instead, they resort to putting him farther away from the basket on a smaller guy. What's the point of keeping Chet in the paint if he can't stop the guy he's supposed to? Unfortunately, being so far out is not a strength of his. Chet's best quality as a defender is staying near the paint, so he can rotate as a help defender and contest a shot.
Into Gilgeous-Alexander. Oh, knocked away. Holmgren, who comes down hard.
In the right place.
Keep in mind, Chet had been one of the NBA's best defenders since he entered the league, and it's because of plays like this. He's very quick laterally and has very good intuition on defense. But when he's up against Wemby, he gets out-muscled, out-skilled, out-lengthed, and he simply cannot be a help defender when he can't stop him. There were times when he'd try to rotate over to help, but it doesn't end well.
There's literally nothing Chet can do right here to stop this shit.
Like I said, this isn't anything.
He didn't even jump. Look, he didn't
try to rotate over to help, but it doesn't end well. Like I said, this isn't anything new. Against Portland and Minnesota, they were forced to move their centers off of Wemby, or just bench them entirely. For example, against Rudy Gobert, the Wolves initially tried to put him as the main defender against Wemby, just like they did against Nikola Jokic. The problem is, the Spurs actually have multiple elite playmaking guards who can get to the rim, so they need Gobert to do too much, far more than he's capable. You can't ask him to guard Wemby and do all of this.
Wemby's
Not to mention,
too good.
Wemby.
Like, look at that passing, dude.
You can't ask him to guard Wemby and do all of this. Not to mention, Wemby is a 7'5" alien, and he's very comfortable on the perimeter as well, which Gobert isn't. In fact, most other centers are not comfortable being this far out. Slower, lumbering, flat-footed centers like Donovan Clingan are exponentially less useful when they're not in the paint. Yet, they can't guard Wemby in the paint either, so their team doesn't know what to do with them. Clingan was the first victim of Wemby, as he saw his minutes and production decrease significantly.
Yeah, he's
the
too
Blazers
slow.
actually prefer to have Robert Williams on the court instead because
he's too slow. Like the big man of the NBA are too slow to compete with Wemby.
Because he's a more experienced, more agile defender who spent many years in Boston as an elite pick-and-roll defender. He's way more comfortable guarding different positions or guarding farther out. Clingan, unfortunately, is not as mobile as Robert Williams. It's crazy. Wemby's sheer presence in the paint has caused opposing teams to not trust their own center.
Well, it's crazy when you see, like, people go into the rim where they would go up and try to lay it in against a normal 7-footer, and they run into the lane and then run the baseline and circle back around because he just alters every shot that he puts up.
And this is from the woman over there.
Or, I mean, he alters any shot that is put up against him. Sorry, not that he puts up. But, yeah, anybody that comes in the paint is second guesses shooting. Anybody that comes anywhere close to him second guesses shooting the ball because he can be 10 foot away from you and still get to you.
Instead, they gotta find some sort of other advantage they can use against him. I mean, they're already grabbing him like crazy, and even that doesn't
That's the play I was talking about. Chet's literally grabbing his arm.
Him. I mean, they're already grabbing him like
Look, he's grabbing his arm so he can't
crazy.
jump.
And even that doesn't work.
You see, he scored the alley-oop
That's wild.
with his hand being held by Holmgren.
Half the time, they don't even call this a foul. There's something else that opponents have tried. For instance, the Thunder, Wolves, and Blazers have opted to bench their centers more often and go small more frequently. Gobert went from 35 minutes a game against Denver to 27 minutes a game against San Antonio. Clingan went from 27 a game in the regular season to 21 minutes against San Antonio.
Damn.
Isaiah Hartenstein would get like 0 minutes if he wasn't allowed to play like this. In theory, going small isn't necessarily an advantage against Wemby, but it's a way to avoid playing their own center since they aren't that useful with him on the court. Unfortunately, this leads to another problem. When you're missing your center, plays like this, for example, are far too common.
Harper guarded by Lynn Caruso. Wemby
Yeah.
beat him inside, threw it down. Hey, look, he's giving up too much side. He's been admirable tonight, but
As you can see, OKC has signed several smaller players to take turns guarding Wemby, like Jalen Williams or Alex Caruso. Believe it or not, this is a common strategy that coaches have tried to employ against taller, lanky players who aren't used to being defended by a strong, burly guard. Think of like Chris Paul or Tony Allen defending Kevin Durant to great success. It was a nightmare for Durant to score because he can't outmuscle a strong guard. Heck, even in Wemby's first 2 years in the NBA, his postgame and footwork wasn't as polished, so he would sometimes struggle too. But in year 3, that has all changed.
Yeah, he's strong now. You can't outmuscle him.
He fixed his weaknesses. OKC cannot get away with using a tactic like this when the man they're guarding is Wemby, whose offensive game is approaching a level none of us have ever seen in a player with his build. Speaking of going small, this is normally a massive advantage for the Thunder. They aren't a huge team outside of their starting front court, but they have a deep roster of skilled smaller guys who can pop off at any moment. For example, Aaron Wiggins, who has been a bench warmer for most of the 2026 playoffs. He had multiple 30 and 40-point games a year ago. This dude is a great player, yet he's like the 10th man on the team because they're so deep in guards.
Damn,
Especially
that's wild.
After getting Jared McCain and AJ Mitchell. Their guard depth was OKC's biggest advantage in years past. To have so many skilled on-ball playmakers is a huge privilege. Even without Shea on the court, they would put constant pressure on the defense every single possession, which makes them so hard to stop.
True.
However, this strength of OKC has been somewhat nullified.
They're a great team. I've never said they weren't. I just don't like the way they play. I wish they would just play basketball like they're a great team. Just play basketball.
The Spurs are a team that's more well-equipped to match OKC in the backcourt than any other team. Honestly, I think they drafted their guys with the intention to match them. The depth of the Spurs' backcourt is also insane, from Dylan Harper's breakout on the national stage to Stephon Castle's versatility and defense, and a rookie in Carter Bryant, who's already one of the best perimeter defenders I've ever seen.
Dude, he was locking people up in that game 1, dude. He got all kinds of steals and tips.
It's like they only drafted Carter with the intention to guard Shea and other superstar guards.
This rookie is right up at SGA and denying and defending.
It's crazy how the Spurs have so much confidence in this kid that they can put him on the MVP and he's not fazed one bit.
I said it that night when I was watching it. I've never seen a rookie play with this much composure.
Always been known for developing their players, so I guess it shouldn't be a surprise. The Spurs are deep in backcourt talent and can basically match OKC in their biggest strength. Except the Spurs also have Wemby.
Exactly.
With Wemby lurking the paint, he single-handedly alters the dynamic of an entire offense, and players of all levels are frankly scared every time he's within
Smacks him in the face and everything.
arm's reach. There's no way Shea should miss such an easy shot like this.
That's embarrassing. Wemby didn't even have to jump. Just him being there altered that shot.
Arm's reach. There's no way Shea should
Wemby did not even have to jump.
miss such an easy shot like this, but Wemby's mere presence is enough to make him second-guess himself. Because of him, we are witnessing in real time an evolution across the NBA landscape. Much like how Shaq was such a centralizing force back in his day, now the NBA is in search for the next solution. The solution to Wembanyama, the new centralizing force in the NBA. What tactic, what game plan, what offensive scheme can they innovate to make him
I don't know. Literally, they're going to just start doing the Jordan rules. They're just going to, every time he gets in the paint, they're going to start just hanging on him, fouling him hard, doing what Hartenstein was doing all game 2, fouling the fuck out of him.
less effective? When Steph Curry rose into prominence with his three-point shot, every team wanted to copy that. And they did. The three-pointer skyrocketed in popularity and teams are now shooting over 43s a game. But how is anyone supposed to copy Wemby?
You can't.
You can't just spawn a 7'5" person out of thin air. We're in a new beginning of the next era of NBA basketball. Playoff teams around the league have not yet prepared for what's to come. Just like how Tim Connolly joined the Wolves organization and built their team to counter Nikola Jokic and the Nuggets, the entire league now will be building their teams to try and attempt to slow down Victor Wembanyama. Right now, at age 22 and already this dominant of a player, one can only imagine.
Yeah, what's scary is like these first 3 years that we've watched of Wemby are the worst we're ever gonna see. The first 3 years in the NBA is when you're really getting your footing under you. You're trying to figure out who you are and how to play in the NBA and learn all the teams and all like each, you know what I mean? I'm saying like learn how each team plays. You're trying to figure everything out still. It's only getting better from here, and that is scary for the other teams in the NBA.
What will it look like when Wemby is 27? Will there be a solution to him by then? Anyway, that's all folks. I hope y'all enjoyed the video, and of course, as always, I'll see you next time.
I think like prime KD would have been like probably the best I don't know because I don't remember how KD was on defense, I guess. But somebody built like prime KD that can move and everything quick and is still 7 foot almost, 6'11", and super long arms. Like I feel like that's your best option to put on Wemby. But Chet is built like that and can't move like that though. That's why he is not a good option for Wemby. But yeah, man, it's gonna fucking be interesting to see where like he said in year 27 or when he's 27, like what's he gonna be like? Like it's gonna be interesting NBA to see how all these teams are gonna try to stop Wemby because like he said, they all realize he's gonna be they're gonna be playing him at some point to get to the championship every year. You got to get through Wemby from now on, pretty much. But man, it's still live checking out, man. I'm gonna let y'all go, man.